Alright, Kerry, thumbing through Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of people asking about injuries. Now, I know we don't like to publicly talk about that, but what are some of the risks that you run working in a shop like this? And if you could maybe name a few injuries that have happened.
Sure. I think that most people think that we're mostly worried about burns when we're here in the shop. And I mean, everybody gets some burns here and there, but to be quite honest, that's not the real danger. Rolling mills, lathes, wire wheels, things that can draw you in, pull the material in on you, those are the things that have the greatest level of danger.
Yeah, I'd say we've been pretty lucky. No one's been really critically injured here. I've gotten slapped by an occasion belt, you know, with abrasions and stuff like that. Dislocated fingers. Kerry got hit in the ribs real bad one time working on a buffer. But no one's ever really seriously injured themselves here. We consider ourselves very lucky, and we hope to just keeping that one going.
Definitely. Brandon at Lumbax Pie Boy asks, what music do you typically listen to while grinding? Specifically asking Matt. And is anybody else listening to music while working? We used to keep a big stereo in the shop. Most of the guys now are, you know, listening to individual music, and so it just kind of depends on their personal tastes.
My music taste is a pretty wide variety. Anything from Eminem to Metallica, and everything in between. If you don't see me dancing, I'm most likely listening to a Pandora station with stand-up comedians or books on tape, to be perfectly honest. I know Ilya gets asked all the time what he's listening to, because he always has earphones in. Well, that mystery is just gonna have to be prolonged and continue, because even I have no idea. Here's another good one. At Kevin Burgess 461. If the end goal is to move metal, why do you use a power hammer over a hydraulic press?
Well, you're moving things fairly differently. One of the real considerations here, especially if you're seeing Ilya work, is that the press will chill the material while you're using it. If you have a smaller hammer and you're trying to use a lot of material, it's not such an issue. They're kind of the same. But in the case of using a larger nacelle, Ilya is able to strike that material and generate more heat and continue working much longer than he'd be able to do in the press, where it's going to chill the material because the dies are cold. At Something Hinky asks us, what CAD software is the blacksmith using to cut image shapes from the Jpegs?
I started off in high school using a program called MiniCAD. Then when I went to college, I started using AutoCAD, so that's my preference. We also have BobCAD, do some different stuff in the practical CNC, all kinds of different programs, but most of the drawing you've seen me do is in AutoCAD. All right, Kerry, at The Military Kid asks, how early would you recommend smithing? I was looking at a simple forge, and I just wanted to know how young is too young?
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting. In the blacksmith guilds that we go to, they're actually using wooden anvils, and they're using like crab mallets or little wooden mallets that they can work from. And they're using clay. Clay moves almost exactly the way hot metal would move. So it's something where you can get a real feel for how something will shape, and then when they're old enough in a situation where they can work with hot metal, they've already got a fair amount of knowledge to start with.
If you're a parent trying to decide whether your kid is too young or old enough to start forging, it's kind of case by case. I mean, I forged my first knife at 12 years old. I'm kind of a unique situation because I've been around his shop since I was in diapers. We encourage people to be working with their hands as early as possible. It's just case by case whether you're going to be working with red hot metal or not. At TSG Silvheim, what are you guys doing when you're not making swords for YouTube?
We're making swords for Renaissance festivals. We primarily make wholesale work for Renaissance festivals for dealers. We also do all of the weapons for Disney, for Aladdin, and much of what they use on the cruise lines. And they're certainly individual collectors. So we stay pretty busy throughout the entire year.
Well, not only business related, but what do you do when you're not working?
Sleep. You know, we certainly have some interests outside of the forging work. I'm very interested in early sports cars and some metalworking outside of this, you know, more engraving and jewelry work that you see occasionally in the show. Yeah,
and we're both gamers. We've been gaming together since I was a kid. So you can catch us on your favorite online games from here and there. League of Legends, PUBG, that kind of stuff.
And that's it for another round of Ask a Blacksmith. Thanks for sending us your questions. If you have any more, make sure you send them to us. Tweet them out to #AskABlacksmith. Click here to subscribe or click here to watch more episodes. Thanks for watching Man at Arms Reforged. We need to know what you want the guys to build, so tell us in the comments below what weapons you want to see next.